With online media quickly expanding and providing new ways for people to receive and interact with news content, some print journalists are embracing social media to promote and extend the value of the news they're creating. To do so, they must emerge from their relatively anonymous role as reporters and engage social media with their own voices and opinions as individuals. Christopher Columbus didn't discover America alone. He wasn't the first of the explorers to see it, and he certainly wasn't the last, but he did contribute to its discovery. Likewise, in discovering the new frontier of social media, print journalists weren't the first to see it, but are slowly seeing its value, mapping it out, and considering staking a claim for the long run. One of these first explorers is David Polk of the New York Times, who's reaching beyond print to Twitter and video blogging. However, we have yet to determine how effective these practices are. We don't know if journalists are helping to expand their audience or feeding the social media beast that is consuming their very own readerships and contributing to the decline of traditional print media. Without some direction of how social media affects print media, these journalists can only guess that their efforts will bear fruit and assume that interaction drives interests and readership. In this age of declining print news readership, journalists have to ask themselves, what is social media, and further, what is its value? Journalists cannot afford to commit valuable time into social media without reason, nor can they afford to be stagnant. They are abandoning their silent, anonymous roles as reporters to engage in social media and remain relevant and communicate with their audiences, which are increasingly moving online for news and information. Their success in social media is crucial to the survival of their craft.
Trust is a cornerstone in people's relationships. Based on mutual trust, both sides will benefit more. Virtual world needs trust too. Today, more and more information is contributed by anonymous groups. However, as we highly exalt public contributions which are so-called Web 2.0 spirit, do some anonymous voices create chaos while others are truth? Is there any better way to make creators be more trustworthy? When it comes to Web 2.0, Wikipedia is undoubtedly a classic example. Nevertheless, Anonymous content somehow caused controversial arguments over its credibility. Google opened a service called Null this July. Null is similar to Wikipedia, yet one of the radical differences between these two sites is that Null asks others to provide their real names and backgrounds. Moreover, Null also allows people to make comments under each subject and adopt profit policy which may attract professionals to throw themselves into this market. While these changes help improve the credibility of online resources and make people begin to distinguish fact-driven articles from opinion-driven ones, we hope the answer will be yes, and by Null's moderate collaboration mode, at least we have sufficient resources to verify what we receive online. Under these circumstances, not only do we understand how the world is shaped through other eyes now, but we are also clear who we are following this time.
The anonymity trait of social media weakens the authority of the news media quite seriously. However, The news media's use of social media can create mutual understanding between the news media and the audiences, which can mitigate the unpleasant words of the news media. The poor performance of the news media has cost their reputation. At the same time, the social media has become the audience's complaint outlet, and the anonymity trait of social media generates more irresponsible and exaggerated comments by the audiences. The comments then become words of mouth, which influence the public's negative feeling of the news media. The power is even greater than a person. To eliminate the anonymity between the news media and the audiences, the news media should use social media as a tool to respond to the audiences. They should at least show that they care about the audience's thoughts through social media. Through response to the audiences, the distance between the news media and the audiences may become shorter, and the relationship may not be so tense. They can also understand the audience's needs and thoughts through the use of social media and make improvements. They can learn knowledge of other disciplines from social media. Therefore, the news media can provide quality news.
From its earliest beginnings, Christian churches centered on a community. From early gatherings of neighbors in homes or more open meeting places, to today's more broad sizes of congregations, small to large, the focus on the individual has been central. Yet there have been certain anonymous aspects of this relationship. For example, the act of confession in the Catholic Church is somewhat anonymous, as the parties are divided by a screen to better focus on the spiritual aspect of the act rather than the conversational aspect. Giving has both identified and anonymous views as well. Most churches ask for pledges from their members for the operational budget and for charitable and philanthropic projects and programs. But when the plate or basket is passed around in a service, some gifts are in envelopes with names attached, and some are loose contributions given anonymously. The message for hundreds of years has been that God sees the giver and the gift, and that the right hand should not know what the left hand is doing. So, anonymity is encouraged. As more and more denominations and congregations define an online presence for themselves, the degree by which they adopt a social media strategy has the potential to broaden both identified and anonymous giving. However, the opportunity for anonymity is greater, as it is much easier to hide behind a persona online, if you will, than when sitting in a pew. As a contributor, the ability to more widely distribute one's gifts according to one's wishes may dilute some of the local community focus of a congregation. From the congregation's point of view, however, it may allow for more participation by truly interested or marginally committed contributors. One cannot tell the difference online.